Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of Sunday Basic Sunday. As we get set here for this Strat-O-Matic Basic game, 1962. Game was played June 24th, 1962, between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Chicago Cubs. Starting pitchers Al McBean for the Pirates and Bob Buell for the Chicago Cubs. And there is my score sheet before I start with the basic information in there. McBean has a special run rating of 13 as a pitcher. Buell keeps his normal number 10. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, I guess. June 24th, 1962. One change I am making, or since I got this from the Barnes & Nobles, we'll go ahead and use this for the basic strategy sheet, as opposed to the one we normally used to use, the old red and white one. Of course, the basic fielding chart. Basic fielding chart hasn't changed, I don't think. We'll just go with this. I don't believe they changed that in the updated version. They may have. I just didn't pull it out to find out. Not that important, I don't suppose. So let me make sure I've got everything where I think it fits best. Might want to drop the glare a little bit on this. Okay. So hopefully that now fits in here. Let's move this over just a touch so we can make sure that the dice tower, the little mini dice tower there, is in play. Can't quite get it back enough to get the Strat-O-Matic to get in there and have the outs, because I think I'm back as far as I can go with the webcam. I don't think I can kick it up any higher than that. Man, I hate that I'm getting you guys dizzy with this, but I'm trying to get it straight so that we can have it straight going forward. It's kind of bad because with this webcam, I have to have it in different positions, for different games, whether it's Strat 1987, whether it's Fall Classic, whether it's History Maker Golf. There's a whole lot of different places or different games that it requires different angles and so forth. And I'm thinking, I can get it closer, but I can't get any further back. That's the bad part. All I can do is raise it up in the air higher, and hopefully that makes it better. There we go. Now we can see the Strat-O-Matic. Now, of course, we're farther away from the cards, so maybe you don't need to see the Strat-O-Matic. I don't know. We'll go a little bit closer here. Hopefully that will suffice. We shall see. Might be able to not have this overhead light to begin with. I think you can see it pretty good from there now as it is. So, well, we hope. Let's go ahead and close it up a little bit more so that we can get to the cards a little bit better. So McBean and Buell, or I guess it's pronounced Buell. And it'll be Lou Brock leading things off for the Chicago Cubs. A young Lou Brock. He will lead things off here on this Sunday Basic Sunday game. And we get a 4-7 on McBean. That's a single for Lou Brock. Now, does he want to steal? That's the whole thing there. The catcher for the Pirates is Smokey Burgess. Smokey Burgess has a defensive rating of 4. So that could allow Brock to attempt to steal. And, of course, we always get scam calls when I'm trying to do stuff. Never fails. I don't care if it's an unboxing or game or what it is. Spam calls seem to want to come in. So as a 4-rated catcher, it's only a -1 on the hold. So let's look at the basic strategy chart. Stealing, he's a B, which is a 1 to 13. -1 is a 12. So it'll be a 1 to 12. And we're going to have Brock try to steal second base. It's a 1 to 12. He stole 16 bases real world, got caught 7 times. 1 to 12, he's safe. And he got caught stealing. So Burgess throws him out. 1 away. And that's going to bring up Ken Hubbs, second baseman. So they took a chance, tried to be aggressive. It just didn't work out. Hubbs now 5-7. That's a ground ball second base X. And the second baseman, in this case for the Pirates, is Bill Mazeroski. He is a 1. So at second base 1, he's going to make the play. The only error is going to be a 17. That's the only chance he has in an error. Anything other than 17, he makes the play. 14, which is an out 3, but in this case, doesn't matter. Nobody's on base. It's out number 2. So 2 down, and that's going to send up Billy Williams, left fielder. I'm considering changing this up next week to start using the 52 season. That's a thought I have in my head. Not quite sure if I want to, but I'm kind of into the 62 season pretty good, so I might just stick with that. It's a 2-9 for Williams, and that's a fly ball to right field to end the inning. Might use 52 for something else down the road. So Chicago comes away empty-handed. Leadoff single, but the caught stealing took care of everything else. We go to the bottom of the first. Chicago nothing, Pittsburgh coming to bat, and Bill Verdon, center fielder. Start things off for the Pirates. That's a 6-9, and that's going to be a fly to center field, 1 away. Hauled in out there by Lou Brock. And that'll send up Dick Grote. Dick Grote, the shortstop for the Pirates. 4-4, and that's a catcher X. So we go to our X chance for a catcher. Catcher in this case is Bartell. He's a 4. So a 4 rated catcher, and we'll see what happens with that. That is a 12. 4 and a 12 is a foul out. So Grote will foul it out to Bartell. That's 2 away. And that'll bring up Bob Skinner. Skinner, the left fielder. 110 for Skinner. Fly ball to center. That's going to do it. 1-2-3 inning for Buell. And at the end of 1, we got no score from Forbes Field. And Ernie Banks will lead off for the Cubbies. Top of the second. Be followed by Santo and Altman. So at least by leaving the score sheet here, at least you can see the lineup. See 2-11 for Ernie Banks, and that is a line out to third, 1 away. That'll bring up Santo. Ron Santo. 3-4 for Santo, and that's a ground ball right back to McBean. 2 easy outs. And it brings up George Altman. I must admit, I've never heard of George Altman. But he had a good year, 22 home runs, 318 average. I just never heard of the guy. 6-8, and McBean will walk him. So a 2-out walk to Altman. Altman will not try to steal. Here's another guy I've never heard of, Andre Rogers, a shortstop. 5-7, and that's going to be a ground ball second base X. That again is Mazeroski, who's a 1. So the only way he messes this up is on a 17. Anything else, the inning's over. And that's a 5. So a 1 and a 5, just so you can see it, is an out 3, which would be a completion of a double play, but there were already 2 outs. So just going to be an easy ground out. Go to the bottom of the second. No score from Pittsburgh. And Bob Buell back out. He'll be facing Hands of Stone, Dick Stewart. Or Dr. Strangeglove, I guess they called him. 2-2 for Dick Stewart. That's a straight-up home run for Dick Stewart. Let's take a close-up of that. 2-2, and Dick Stewart hits a home run. He had 16 of them real world. He gets the home run here and puts the Pirates in the lead 1-0. As he takes that pitch from Buell and puts it over the wall for home run. Here comes Roberto Clemente. That's a 111 for Clemente. He pops it up to short. And that'll be handled by Rogers. 1 away for Smokey Burgess, the catcher. 2-6 for Burgess. He's going to line it to first. And Ernie Banks will snag that. 2 down for Don Hoke. third baseman. 2-2 for Hoke. He's going to fly it to right, and that's going to end the inning. But the home run from Dick Stewart, Dr. Strangeglove, gives the Pirates a 1-0 lead as we head to the top of the third. And it'll be the bottom portion of the order. Dick Bertel, catcher, followed by the pitcher Buell, and then Brock. We get a 1-3, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. Easy play for Mazeroski, one away. Now the pitcher Buell, he uses pitcher hitting card number 1. 4-4, and that's a ground ball to shortstop X. We are looking at the shortstop for the Pirates, and that is Dick Grote. He's a 3. So a 3-rated shortstop. Roll for that. 3-rated shortstop. We get a 5. 3 and a 5 is an out 1, and nobody's on base, so that's all that matters. Don't have to worry about what kind of an out it is. Buell is retired. 2 down for Lou Brock. Singled and caught stealing his first chance. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0 Pirates here in the third. Get a 1, and that's a 7. I think the 6 got stuck back there. 1-7, and that's a ground ball to third. Handled by the third baseman, Don Hoke, and that'll take care of the Cubbies here in the third inning. So no score as 1-0 as we head to the third. It'll be Mazeroski, followed by the pitcher, McBean, and then top of the order, Verdon. Mazeroski, 3-6, ground ball to third. Ron Santo will throw him out. 1 away. Here is McBean. He uses pitcher hitting card number 3. 6-7, and that's going to be a ground ball to second X. Looking at the second baseman for the Cubbies, and that is Hubbs. He's a 1, so pretty much will make the play. The only error, again, just like with Mazeroski, the only error is a 17. And it's a 5, so he'll make the play, and that's 2 away. Back to the top of the order, and Bill Verdon. And that is a 3-8 for Verdon, and he pops it up. And Hubbs will make that play to end the inning. 3 innings in the books to this point. It is still the Pirates 1, Cubs nothing. The home run from Dr. Strangeglove, Dick Stewart, has held up to this point. Ken Hubbs will lead off the fourth, followed by Williams and Banks. 2-9, and that's going to be a strikeout. And for McBean, that's the first strikeout. First strikeout of the game for either pitcher, actually. And he will take care of Hubbs. Here is Billy Williams. It's a 4-5, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. That is Dick Grote. He is a 3. 3 at shortstop, and that's an 18. 3 and an 18. We're going to roll the 20-sided die again. Now it's times a 4. 3 and a 4 is still going to be an out 1. That's all that matters. Nobody's on base. It's ground out to short. 2 down for Ernie Banks. That's a 6-11. It's a ground ball right back to McBean. He is a 3 for a pitcher. So we'll go to the chart for that, for the pitcher. And he's a 3. And that's 16. 3 and a 16 is a 1-base error on McBean. So McBean will boot it, put Ernie Banks at first base with 2 outs, and bring up Ron Santo. 1-4 for Santo. He's going to walk. That's going to put runners at first and second. 2 down now for George Altman. 2-7 for Altman, and he grounds it to first, and that will end the inning. Stewart takes it to the bag himself, takes care of business. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Score remains 1-0 Pirates. Buell back out will face Grote, Skinner, and Stewart. 1-9 is going to be a fly to center field. That's out number 1. Lou Brock rolls it over to get it. 1 away. And that'll bring up Skinner. Five, 6, and that's going to be a 1 for a triple. Anything else will be a single. So we get a base hit for Skinner. Only the second hit for the Pirates. And Skinner not going to go anywhere. Here comes Dick Stewart. He is responsible for the only run of the game when he rolled a 2-2 and hit the home run setting. This is a 6-7. He's going to hit a ground ball second base X. And again, second baseman for the Cubs is Hubbs. He's a 1, so we could see a double play here. 1, and that's almost hidden in there. 1 and a 20, so 1 and a 20 at second base is an out 1, but that says runners advance a base. So how about that? So the runner will advance. It's going to be a ground ball C, for lack of a better term. Stewart grounds out. Skinner goes to second. 2 outs for Roberto Clemente. Runner at second, 2 outs. Clemente popped to short his first time up. We get a 1-9 for Clemente, and he grounds to short to end the inning. As the shortstop Rogers takes care of business, we go to the 5th. Still 1-0 Buccos. McBean back out. Will face Rogers, Bertel, and then Buell. That's a 3-6 for Rogers, and he's going to get a base hit. That's the first hit of the game for the Cubs since Lou Brock led the game off with a single. It's only their second hit. And now Rogers, no threat to run. Here is Dick Bertel, catcher. And that is a 3-5, and that's a double 1-8. Single 9-20. That's a 14. It's a single 2 stars. Puts runners at the corners, nobody out. And you got the pitcher spot coming up. So what do you have him do? Do you have him bunt the runners over, or I guess you have him swing away and hope he doesn't hit into a double play? Infield for the Pirates is back. 3-3. It's a pop-up to short. So at least he didn't hit into a double play. And now runners on the corners with 1 out for Lou Brock. Infield still looking for that double play. 3-7, and that's a single 1-7. Line out 8-20. And that's an 8, so he lines it out. It is snagged by Mazeroski, out number 2. And McBean 1 batter away from getting out of the mess. But he does have to get Ken Hubbs. 1-6, and he does. He struck him out. That's the end of the inning. It's a nice bit of pitching there by McBean. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 1-0 Pirates. Buell pitching well as McBean, but not getting any run support. Just made the one mistake pitch to Stewart, and that was it. All right, it's Burgess, Hoke, and Mazeroski. 5-7, and that's going to be a strikeout for Buell. And I believe that is his first strikeout. Yes, it is. First strikeout of the game for Buell. 1 away, and here comes Don Hoke, who I believe was the answer to a trivia question in City Slickers, but I could be wrong. I think that's who it was. 6-6, and that is a double 1-9, single 10-20. And that is going to be a 6. I know it's kind of hidden back there, but that is a 6. So that, with a 6, that will be a double. 1 out double for Don Hoke. Can't say his name without thinking about Don Ho, the guy from Hawaii. plays the guitar and sings and all that stuff. All right, here's Mazeroski. 4-5, and that's going to be a fly ball to center, out number 2. And now is the pitcher. McBean can help his own cause. He's got a runner at second to bring in. 5-7. He doesn't do it. He strikes out to end the inning. So Buell pitches around that double. We go to the top of the 6th. It's still 1-0 Bucks. Home run from Stewart has stood the test of time to now. And McBean will be taking on Billy Williams to start the top of the 6th. 1-8, and that's going to be a home run 1-17 for Billy Williams. This would tie the game. That's a 20, so he'll settle in air quotes with a triple. The 1-8 is a triple, 18-20, and that is a 20, so Billy Williams will settle with a triple. But now the tying runs at third base with nobody out for Ernie Banks. And now the Pirates will bring the infield in. Try to cut off that cheap run. 6-7, that's a single, 1-19, so it won't matter unless we roll a 20. That's a base hit, so we got a tie ball game. Doesn't matter if they're in or out. Base hit for Ernie Banks. Tied at 1. And that'll send up Ron Santo. So all of a sudden, they're starting to get to McBean on the 3rd time through the order. 6-7, and that's going to be the same roll we just had. 1-19 is a single. And that's a 20, though. How about that? So that time McBean bows up and gets him to line it to Don Hoke. And there's one away. Sometimes that first out is the hardest one to get. Here's George Altman. 6-6 this time, and that's even worse. 1-3 is a triple. 4-20 is a single. And we got a single 2 stars. That's going to put runners on the corners with 1 out. As the Cubs threaten McBean and the Pirates to take the lead. It'll be Andre Rogers, the batter. The infield is at double play depth. They want to turn a double play and get out of the inning if they can. 4-7, ground ball second base X. They got a chance. Mazeroski's a 1. 1 at second base. Can he get the ground out 3? The out 3 is what he needs. You can get an out 3 on a 3 through 12 or 17. So a 3 through 12 specifically. 3 through. I'm sorry, looking at number 2. Number 1, you can get it on a 1 through 16. So basically, this is going to be a double play regardless, unless we get a 17. That's a 3. It's an out 3. It is a double play. So that's the benefit of having a 1-rated first base or second baseman. They turn the 4-6-3 Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play, gets them out of the rest of the jam. They do tie the score. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in that area and you have tailoring needs, be sure to stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made play of the game. So here's Bill Verdon. We're now tied at 1. That is a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that. I like to have them flat. 2-8, and that's a leadoff single for Bill Verdon. Leadoff single to Verdon. And Verdon, not much of a threat to run, so he'll stand pat. Here's Dick Grote, shortstop. 5-6, and that's a triple and a 1. Anything else will be a single 2 stars. And that is a single 2 stars. Pirates now looking to get the lead right back. First and third, nobody out. Cubs looking for the double play. They'll give up an out to get the. They'll give up a run to get the 2 outs and try to minimize the damage to 1 run. They don't want a 3 or 4 run inning piling up on them. 5-6, and he really needs a strikeout, but he ain't getting it. We just had that roll, I think. 2-20 is a single 2 stars, and that's exactly where we are, back in the same boat. Pirates take the lead. Going to third is Grote. Scoring is Verdon. Pirates lead at 2-1. Still nobody out for Dick Stewart. Still at double play depth. They got to have outs. 6-11. That's a fly ball left field X, and we're looking at Billy Williams, and he's a 4, so that could be problematic. Billy Williams is a 4. 4 and what is this? 4 and an 11. 4 and an 11 is a double. Double 2. Double 2 means advance 2 bases on the double. So run's going to score. The runner on first, Skinner, will stop at third. And Dick Stewart, an RBI double. It is now 3-1 Pirates. Still nobody out for Roberto Clemente. And now the Cub bullpen starting to stir. Let's see who they've got available out of their bullpen. They have the following guys that I saw on the Action PC computer that said were available. David Gerard, Barney Schultz, Don Elston, and Tony Balsamo. So your guess is as good as mine who would be a good guy to bring in. Let's see. Clemente. So they're going to have Gerard loosening in the bullpen. But they're going to give Buell at least one more batter. That's Clemente. The infield now has come in. Second and third, nobody out. Infield is in. That's a 1-8 for Clemente, and that's a 1-18 single. 19-20 lines out. That's a single, and it's a 1-star single, so it'll score the run, and Stewart will stop at third. And that's going to be it for Buell. He just seems to have totally lost it here in the 6th inning. 3 runs are already in. Runners are at the corners with nobody out. And we will get a new pitcher for the Cubbies, and it is Mr. Gerard. Buell is done. So Gerard is in, and he will face Smokey Burgess to start things off. Gerard is set to bat second next inning, but they don't care. They just want to get the out. They want him to get out of the inning. They'll pinch hit for him in the top half. They just want to get him out, get him through the inning. Here's Burgess. The infield is still in. 6-7, and that's a strikeout for Gerard. That certainly helps. That's definitely something they needed. Gerard gets the strikeout on the 6-7, which is wedged in between a couple of walks and a home run. So that worked out pretty well for them. Here's Don Hoke. Now the infield will look for a double play, as a double play would get them out of the inning. So they are at double play depth. And that is a 1-3, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases. With 1 out, bases are loaded. And it brings us Bill Mazeroski. Again, the infield is double play depth. We get a 5-6 and a 5-6. It's a fly ball to left field B, sacrifice fly. That will score another run, and that one again is charged to Buell. He's charged with all 4 runs this inning. 2 outs, runners at first and second for the pitcher, McBean. That's a 5-6, and that is another fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. But a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning, so we charge all 5 runs to Bob Buell. He gets charged with all of them, and they're all earned. So Buell is going to go 5+ innings, and he's going to allow, in fact, I'll get the score sheet up here. 5+ innings, he's going to allow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to allow 8 hits. Let's see. He didn't walk anybody, which was strange. And he struck out 2. He struck out 2. All right. And Gerard, he's going to go 1 inning. And he's going to give up nothing. A walk and a strikeout. Oops. Got my numbers backwards there. We'll get a pinch hitter for Gerard. He actually did walk a batter. So we will get a pinch hitter for Gerard as he bats second this top of the 7th inning. So that's all for Mr. Gerard. McBean out will face Bertel and a pinch hitter for Gerard. And let's see who the Cubs have on the bench to pinch hit. I'm going to try to play it, even though it's basic, I'm going to play lefty-righty. So we're looking for a left-handed pinch hitter. And one of those left-handed pinch hitters could be Bob Will. Another one could be Don Landrum. He's most likely the candidate, 286 hitter. Everybody else is right-handed. They have Thacker, McKnight, Tapp, and Grammas. So we're going to go with Don Landrum. He will hit for the pitcher. But first, it's Bertel here to start the top of the 7th. 6-9, and that's a strikeout, one away. Bertel is out of there. And that brings up the pinch hitter Landrum. Don Landrum. Never heard of him either. But he's going to pinch hit here in the 7th, whether I've heard of him or not. So Landrum, 286 hitter on the 62 season. It's a 3-3, and he's going to ground it to second for out number 2. And that'll do it for Landrum. And Lou Brock steps up, 2 outs, base is clear. And we get a 1-5 for Brock, and he's going to strike out to end the inning. And for McBean, that is strikeout number 4. So we go to the 7th inning stretch. The Cubs will need a new pitcher. And we'll check their bullpen once again. Figure out who they want to go to. They use Gerard. Now they have either Barney Schultz, Elston, or Balsamo. Coming up for the Pirates, it is the pitcher McBean, and then Verdon and Grote. So I think they're going to go to Barney Schultz here. Sergeant Schultz, who knows nothing. So Sergeant Schultz will be on. And he will face McBean, the pitcher. So you can't get much easier than that. Starting out with McBean. I'm sorry, no, it's not McBean. It's going to be Verdon. McBean made the last out last inning. For some reason, I didn't put it in the score sheet. I don't know why. But anyway, that's where we are. Bill Verdon. 6-7 for Schultz, and that's a single 1-12, line out 13-20. And that's a line out to second base. So right to Hubs for out number 1. And that'll send up Dick Grote. On deck is Skinner. Grote 4-9, and that's going to be a strikeout for Barney Schultz. 2 down for Bob Skinner. And that is a 1-5 for Skinner, and he strikes out as well. So Schultz, quality inning there. 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts. We go to the top of the 8th. McBean going strong, still out there. And he will be facing Hubs, Williams, and Banks. Here in the top of the 8th of what is now a 5-1 ball game in favor of the Pirates. 3-5, and Hubs will get a base hit. Single for Hubs. And that's going to send up Billy Williams. No action in the Pirate bullpen just yet. 5-5, and that's a fly to right, 1 away. Clemente hauls it in. Williams is out. Ernie Banks is up. And no, Ernie, we're not playing 2. We're just playing this one. It is a scheduled doubleheader, but I'm only doing the first one. 1-11 for Ernie Banks, and that's a single for Ernie. And down 5-1, they're going to play station to station. They're not trying for the extra base or anything. That'll bring up Ron Santo. This is where the Cubs need to make some hay. They got their big hitters up here with runners on base and 1 out. Pirates looking for the inning-ending double play. 2-10. They won't get a double play. They might get a double, though. 1-9 is a double. 10-20 is a single. That is a single, but it's 2-star single. and that'll score the run and put the other run at third base. Now the Pirate bullpen starting to stir, as it's now a 5-2 game with only one out. And George Altman, the batter. So let's look at the Pirate bullpen. And the most logical person to bring in would be their closer, Roy Face. Not sure if you want to see the other guys available. Harvey Haddix, Diomedes Olivo, Tom Sturdivant, and Jack LaMavi. But, I mean, Roy Face is kind of like the definitive choice here if they want to go that route. They're going to let McBean face Altman and then see what happens. But Roy Face is loosening, and he's close to being ready. Runners at the corners, one out, infield back for the double play. 5-4, that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Verdon. Verdon's a 1. So a chance for Verdon to get a catch here and not allow a sacrifice fly. He's a 1 rated outfielder. That's a 5. 1 and a 5 is an out 4. Out 4 says runners hold. So how about that? Fly out, but was not deep enough. And now there's 2 away for Rogers, Andre Rogers, the batter. And McBean is coming out. They're going to bring in Roy Face. They're not going to mess around. They're bringing in Roy Face. McBean is going to end up going 7 2/3 innings. 7 2/3 for McBean. And let's see what he gives up as far as. Well, I'll do his totals at the end of the inning because I want to make it official. I want to conjecture what might happen. So Altman now facing Roy Face with runners at the corners, 2 outs. Top of the 8th, now a 5-2 game. Tying run at the plate in Rogers. That is a 6-2 on Roy Face, and he gets him to line it to first. And that's going to end the inning. They strand 2 runners on base. So now we can close the book on Mr. McBean. He's going to go 7 2/3, give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits I've got him for. 2 runs, they were both earned. Walks and strikeouts. He walks 1. That's the only walk I see. And he struck out 4, from what I can gather. And Roy Face, of course, will continue to pitch the 9th, try to earn that save. In the meantime, Barney Schultz out to try to hold the fort, keep things where they are. He'll be facing Dick Stewart, Clemente, and Burgess. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 8th. It was now a 5-2 ball game. Stewart, 5-7. That's a 1-2 triple. Anything else would be a single. And for Stewart, that is a single, leadoff single for Dick Stewart. Stewart, a triple short of the cycle. He is homered, doubled, and singled. He's obviously bucking for player of the game. I don't know anybody else that can take it from him unless something happens dramatic in the last 2 innings. Here's Clemente, 5-5, and that is a strikeout for Barney Schultz. That's his 3rd strikeout. Here is Smokey Burgess. Well, that white dot didn't go through and went over the edge. Let's put that in there. 6-8, and that's another strikeout for Schultz. That's his 4th strikeout. In an inning and 2/3 of work, he struck out 4. Out of the 5 outs, 4 were via strikeout. The other a line out to second. And here is Hoke. 2-7 for Hoke, and he flies to left to end the inning. So that'll do it for Schultz. He goes 2 innings and keeps his team in the game. And now Roy Face is out to try to close the deal. So let's get the numbers on Schultz. He goes 2 innings, strikes out 4, gives up nothing. He gives up 1 hit and nothing else. So for the Pirates, 5 runs on 9 hits so far. Cubs 2 runs on 9 hits. Roy Face facing Bertel and a pinch hitter for Schultz. So we'll see who they got left on the bench to pinch hit as far as the Cubs are concerned. I'll take a look at that. They already used what I thought was one of their better pinch hitters, a lefty, in Don Landrum. You do have Bob Will, but he hits 239. I don't know if you want to go to a righty or if it's anybody better than that. Not really. So Don Will, or Bob Will, rather, is going to pinch hit. Bob will pinch hit for the pitcher Schultz. Bob Will. But right now, it is going to be Bertel who will lead off at the top of the ninth, down 5-2. 4-8, and that's going to be a single 1-10. 11-20, he lines it to Stewart. And that is lined right to Stewart. Dr. Strangeglove does make the catch. One away, and now that's the pinch hitter, Bob Will. 2-5 for Will, and he draws the walk. That's what you need if you're the Cubs. You need base runners. Need one more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. So here's Brock. We flipped the order over to Brock. Well, that didn't go through either. That red dot went over the top. There we go. 6-6. 6-6 is going to be a fly to left, 2 down. And now the Cubs down to their final out. If Hubbs can reach, then Billy Williams will come up as the tying run, but Hubbs has to reach base. 5-10, and fly ball center field X probably won't do it because Verdon's a 1 in the outfield. And the only way it's an error is on the 18. Anything else, this game is over. That's a 16, and he makes the play to end the ball game. Ball game is over. Pirates defeat the Cubs by the score of 5-2. And we'll go over here and get the totals on Roy Face. Face came in and he's pitched an inning and a third. A walk, nothing else. So for the Pirates, 5 runs on 9 hits. And I don't believe either team, let's see, wait a minute. McBean made an error for the Pirates. I don't think anybody made an error on the Cubs. So McBean made the error. Cubs, 2 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. And the player of the game is Dr. Strangeglove, Dick Stewart. Dick Stewart, Dr. Strangeglove. Stewart, a homer in the 2nd, a double in the 6th, and a single in the 8th. So Dick Stewart, your player of the game, as the Pirates beat the Cubs by the score of 5-2 here on Sunday Basic Sunday in 1962 Strat-O-Matic. Didn't really get to look at this all that much. We made one stolen base thing in the very beginning, and that was it. So let's just get a look at the basic charts here. You got injury chances here. You got the infield in here, hit and run here. Flip it over, and you got ground balls and fly balls. You got sacrifice and squeeze play. So that's what's on that chart. I was going to pull the other chart out, and then I realized it was advanced strategy charts. This is only for if you're playing advanced. That's hit and run sacrifice on one side and squeeze play on the other side. So didn't really need that chart since we're playing basic. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that version of Sunday Basic Sunday here in Strat-O-Matic 1962. That was from June the 24th. Next week, we'll play a July the 1st game. I believe that's the following Sunday. I always try to pick a Sunday game. That's my what I want to do with this replay is pick the Sunday games. So let's see if I can look at the schedule for July 1st and see if I can tell you in advance who I might be picking. Let's take a look at the schedule here on Action PC. So on the 1st, might try to go to American League. We've done a National League game. Might try to go to an American League game that I haven't, for teams I haven't used much. Let's see if I can find that. Actually, we might stay in the National League. Very well could. Or do we? Yeah, we're going to stay in the National League. We're going down to, I don't even know what the name of the stadium is, but we're going down to Houston for the Colt 45s against the Cincinnati Reds. So it'll be the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Colt 45s, John Jay for the Reds, some guy named Golden for the Astros. That'll be next Sunday in Sunday Basic Sunday here in Strat-O-Matic Basic 1962 style. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed that basic version of Strat-O-Matic. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.